My fine friends, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. I hope you all are doing well. I just made it out to the top of this mountain here, and the conditions currently are awesome. We're talking about cold conditions. It is 34 degrees. There's snow and ice on the ground. It is insanely windy right now. Outside of the forest, sustained 40-45 miles an hour. Inside of the forest, around 20. What I'm doing is looking for a good spot to set up my tent real quick. Today, I'm out for a day camp, and I appreciate you joining me. As you all can see, everybody, I have the Tetra tent set up. For this adventure, I did not bring a center pole. I went ahead and I tied a guy line between two trees and attached the tent to that guy line to support it. That was very simple to do and also very quick. I was able to set this up in a matter of minutes. The entire time that I was setting this up, it was raining, but it was very light. And that applies to now as well. It's still raining, but it is super, super fine. Inside of the tent now, out of the wind, out of the rain, and it feels fantastic in here. The way that I set this up was pretty smart. The winds basically are going side to side. So we have wind coming against this side of the tent, wind coming against this side of the tent. Very little is actually coming through the door. So I can sit right here at the door and I'm fully comfortable. With this setup here, this was somewhat of a test. I wanted to see how fast I could set this up without a center pole. And I was able to do that just as fast as if I had a center pole. Now, of course, some of that was just pure luck because that's just how it goes when you're in the outdoors. You never know how things are gonna go. You don't know how the weather conditions are going to affect what you're doing. I mean, if it was just a little bit windier, this could have taken a whole lot longer. Anyways, everybody, as it stands right now, we are fully safe inside of this shelter, and I think it's coffee time. I don't know how much you all can hear outside of the wind, but there's a thunderstorm out there somewhere. It's over here. And it could possibly be coming this way. I don't know for certain. Unfortunately, the service here is really spotty and I don't feel like fighting it to try to load up the radar. So it is what it is. If it storms, it storms. If it don't, it don't. As it stands right now, my lunch is rehydrating. These are some new meals that Susie picked up. The company is called Beyond, and this is orange chicken. I love orange chicken, so we'll see if this is any good here in a second. Now you may be thinking to yourself that that stove looks like the Soto cassette stove that I like so much that I've reviewed. In fact, recently I did an episode where I called the Soto cassette stove one of my most favorite stoves of all time. Well, guess what? This is not the Soto stove. This, everybody, is a knockoff. The Soto stove, it runs around 80 bucks, something like that. This cost $12. 12 bucks. I had a viewer write in and tell me about this stove. Unfortunately, I don't remember your name right now. Shoot me another message, let me know, and I'll give you a shout out in a future episode. Speaking of shout outs, I have a few more to give. Martin, thank you so much for the Ridge Monkey gear. This kettle is from Ridge Monkey, and I also have a stove from them as well. That stove is wild, folks. Wait until you see it. The next shout out is for someone named Teddy. I didn't get to meet Teddy, but my brother did. So check this out, everybody. A few weeks back, my brother, he went out camping, right? He said as he was driving down the road, there was another vehicle coming his way, and the guy was putting down his window. So my brother, he opened up his door, started talking to him, and the guy says, "Hey, I recognize you from YouTube." That's where my brother Ira informed him that he was my evil twin. That's correct, everybody. If you don't know this, I have an identical twin out there. He looks just like me. A few years ago, we did a creeper walk together. We might have done 2, but at least 1. I don't quite remember. If you haven't seen that episode, make sure to check it out. I will try to link to it down below in the description box. But yes, I have an identical twin brother. The only real difference between us is that my brother keeps his head shaved, which is something that I've never done. I've always had longer hair, so yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty funny. So Teddy, how's it going, my friend? Thank you so much for watching the channel. I do appreciate it. Ira, I love you, man. Thank you so much for telling me that you met Teddy. It's kind of funny with my brother. Ever so often he goes out camping, and anytime that he needs to go, he comes over to the house, he borrows a bunch of gear, some clothing, and he heads out for his trip. I'm not even sure exactly where he went, to be honest. I don't know. Anyways, folks, it is coffee time, and it's also lunchtime. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. The coffee is amazing and the winds are ferocious. Ferocious, folks. In fact, they're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I was this close to coming out here for like an overnight trip, but I'm glad I didn't. I decided instead I was going to do just a simple day camp. I wanted, again, to see how quickly I could set this up. It was a little bit of a test for myself. Yeah, these winds, they're nuts. In fact, a little while ago, I heard a tree come down around here somewhere. In a little bit, we'll go out and see if we can't find it. Without a doubt, I want to drink my coffee, I want to eat this food, and then we'll have to get out of here. These winds are way too strong to fool around with. No joke, folks. That is awesome. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It doesn't smell bad, but it doesn't smell super great either, but the flavor of this is incredible. speaking of my brother, everybody, he has COVID for the 3rd time. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing, but whatever he's doing is wrong. The first and only time that I had COVID, I got it from him. Ira, you. I'm still not over that, buddy, to be honest with you. To be honest, COVID was no fun for me. For Susie, no big deal. For my son, no big deal. But my brother and I, we both got really, really sick. So I was down and out for like 2 weeks. For over a week and a half, I had a raging fever. I could smell, I could taste, but everything tasted like salt. And then my hair started falling out after that. Luckily it stopped. But for some people, it doesn't. Back when COVID was an actual thing, after I had it, I posted a video where I was talking about my hair loss after COVID. And I received so many emails, so many messages, people experiencing the exact same thing. That's one heck of a virus if it makes your hair fall out. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get the flu and then go bald. Not that I went bald, but you know what I mean. As far as the rain goes, it continues to be very light. I'm still hearing thunder. I don't know if the camera's picking it up because like it is so loud outside of this tent. But there's definitely storms all around us. The crazy thing is that this weather forecast has been so off, so incredibly off. The forecast this morning was for rain to begin after 12 p.m. It started raining around 8 a.m. There was no mention of wind, and it is insanely windy now. It's funny. By the way, everyone, I've had numerous questions about my watch and why I switched from the Apple Ultra 2. So what I picked up is a brand new Garmin, and I have to say I love this watch. When it comes to the Apple Ultra 2, I liked it, but I can't say I loved it. And when it comes to the Apple iPhone 15 Pro that I had as well, I did not like that phone, and unfortunately, it did not work for me. And because the phone didn't work for me, I had to return it along with the watch. The issue that I had with the iPhone was that the antennas are weaker than the previous versions. So get this, where I'm at, the iPhone would not work at all. Switch to another phone and guess what? It works just fine. Even at Lone Wolf Mountain, the iPhone 15 Pro barely got service. I had service at the top, but it barely worked. At the middle and below, no service at all. You may be thinking that the phone was messed up, something like that. I did in fact return the first one, got a second one, and experienced the exact same thing. Unfortunately, the antennas, they're just weaker. When it comes to phones and the way that they do their antennas, all are different. With this phone here, it's amazing. I've had service just about every single place I've gone with this phone. And with the iPhone, I wouldn't have any service when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I am pretty sure I just heard another tree come down. This time over here, far off someplace. Wow. Folks, I need to finish this up and get out of here. It is way too windy. Anyways, when it comes to the Apple Ultra 2 watch, I really do like that watch. I love the way that it looks. It feels great on the arm. I was hoping that Apple had improved like the track back features, the GPS functionality, the waypoints. And unfortunately, they haven't. It is super, super basic. So with my Garmin here, it is much more advanced. You could do so much more with it. The Ultra 2 makes a better smartwatch if you want to send messages and so on. But if you're interested in outdoor sports, in my opinion, nothing beats the Garmin. Folks, you may have noticed that I brought this lantern with me. And the reason for that is pretty simple. I wanted to see whether or not this would put out a lot of heat. Even with the door open, I can tell you all, it does in fact put out some heat. I mean, look at the flame on that. That is crazy. At this level here, it puts out a lot of heat. I was curious about this because, like, I was thinking you could have the tent almost sealed up, not completely, still have some airflow, and yet use something like this to introduce some heat. And you definitely could. You have to make sure it doesn't get blown out though. You can move this glass around to prevent that from happening. Before I break down camp and head out of this forest, I decided to look around and try to find the tree that fell. And look, there it is. There it is. That's the first tree that I heard splinter, but I've heard 2 others while I've been here. That is why I've decided to get out of this forest while I can. Also, to get off of this mountain while I can. I want to thank you all so much for joining me for this short little trip here. I really have enjoyed myself, and I hope you all have as well. Sometimes your inner wolf needs to get out for a short trip just like this, just to kind of recharge, right? Recently, I was interviewed by GQ magazine, and I told them that one of my favorite things about going out into the forest is that I get to think, you know? I get to think about my problems, think about my issues, come up with solutions, and it's true. And today, I've done exactly that. All right, everybody, I am going to turn the camera off and beat feet and get off of this mountain. Because the winds are so strong and the trees are coming down, I need to get out of here before I get hurt or before something else happens. So everybody, I'm going to say goodbye, take care, be well, strength and honor. I will see you all around soon.